Raging Loop is the werewolf death game visual novel. Trapped in an outcast village, Haruaki has to uncover who hiding among them are werewolves. But with each passing day, a human gets brutally killed. This is a story full of murder, deception, accusations, and mass hysteria. And Haruaki's not allowed to call it quits either, as he's forced to repeat this death game over and over and over until the mystery is solved, or the gods allow him to leave. Hi, my name is August, and this is Raging Loop. Thanks to PQ for providing a review copy for me to check out. So how many of you are good at social deduction games? If you are, you'll have a fun time here. If not, don't worry, you're still in for one hell of a ride. Raging Loop is based off of the popular party game known as Werewolf or Mafia. There are hidden werewolves hiding among the villagers, and the humans have to find them before they kill everybody. Every day, the group will come together to discuss who they think are the werewolves and hang the suspects. Add in interesting character personalities, supernatural superstitions, and looping time travel shenanigans, and you have Raging Loop, a pretty compelling psychological mystery thriller. Unfortunately, I'm absolutely terrible at mysteries and social games. Thankfully, I don't have to do much thinking. Haruaki would do it for me, both finding the wolves and dying gruesomely. Haruaki's a pretty intelligent guy, fully capable of tackling the werewolf game and solving the supernatural mysteries. He's a very competent protagonist. He isn't some super brainiac detective, but he shows good judgment through logic, reasoning, and communication skills. He also doesn't get hyper emotional, struggling to accept the situation he's placed in. And while he does suffer despair seeing the people he likes end up as corpses, he rebounds quickly. Being emotionally driven is admirable, but in a game of deception and politics, that's a weakness that can serve to be manipulated. And in an outcast village where pretty much everyone is on tension 24/7, Haruaki's gonna need cold hard logic to win. He is, after all, the worst one starting out of the gate, being the first to be likely executed. Raging Loop's setting is brilliantly crafted to serve as the perfect stage for doubt and suspicion. The settlement of Yasumizu is defined by its isolated status. Its backwater location is hidden from public view, the few villagers that live there are labeled as outcasts, and the religious culture there is deeply ingrained into its inhabitants to an extremely dangerous degree, similar to another equally isolated village. These factors are especially important because they are the foundation for each of the characters' personalities, where even the slightest misstep in communication can lead to someone being shot dead. The older villagers have a natural suspicion towards outsiders, no matter if it's someone like Haruaki or even a young child. Whoever believes and even doesn't believe in supernatural superstitions are viewed with skepticism. Whose words should we really trust? And that's not even considering the personal hostility between the villagers themselves. Finding out who the wolves are is done through cold, hard logic, but they are founded on emotions and personalities. Raging Loop uses this to its advantage. While understanding the villagers is an important part to finding the wolves, the story also explores the backgrounds of each of its distinct characters. The stronger-willed individuals are leaders in the fight against the wolves, but they also hold firm values towards what they desperately want to protect. Meanwhile, the younger villagers can turn out to be wildly unpredictable. We got speeches of self-sacrifice, to stubborn, reckless individuals, to sheer whimsical urges, by a smart-ass brat who thought hanging somebody would be interesting. Now don't worry, there's plenty of explanations and tactics in the actual game itself, but it's the more personal interactions between the villagers that turn out to be surprisingly easy to be invested into, because I sure as hell wasn't expecting multiple love triangles in a death game out here in the boonies. Now, through each iteration of Raging Loop, Haruaki continues to gain information about the bigger mysteries. While this may appear repetitive because of its looping narrative, each major loop is drastically different, as the roles of the villagers and the wolves changes in each run-through. Someone who was extremely beneficial as a villager in one loop could turn out to be a dangerously cunning wolf in the next. Storytelling-wise, this is a great idea to explore more of the characters who were eliminated right at the start. But I think the best part about the subsequent loops is Haruaki slowly understanding each of the villagers and what makes them tick, enough to troll the absolute hell out of them.
ちょっと、あなた。
はい、あなたのあなたです。
ふざけてるの？
Raging Loop is unironically hilarious. Each person has their own set of eccentricities, and Haruaki is really good at bouncing off of them. For him, it's absolutely necessary. After all, he has to gain their trust, and he does so by cracking weird jokes or intentionally pissing them off. It's strange. Even despite being trapped in this death game, there's some semblance of fun interactions with the cast, and in turn, it makes them a lot more realistic too, which goes a long way when the situation creates romantic tensions between the main characters, because there's no better reason to kill someone than someone hooking up with your childhood crush. You don't even need to be a wolf for that. All you need is a double-barreled shotgun. Which brings me to my main criticism of Raging Loop, and it's a pretty big deal since it concerns the final chapter of the game. The point in the story where Raging Loop info dumps all of the answers to the mysteries. Now, Raging Loop does a phenomenal job with its two main core elements, the thrilling werewolf games and the overarching supernatural mystery. Both are great ideas, and both of them have factors that help build each other up and establish the other. However, at this point, the werewolf aspects stop being relevant, and the story is fully dedicated on lecturing you. Everything from urban rural politics to Japanese kanji wordplay to the interpretation of God. There's even a dedicated character in Raging Loop whose sole job it is to give you worldwide occult folklores 101. To anyone not interested, this section is an absolute drag to sit through. It also doesn't feel particularly rewarding either, as most of the explanations for why everything happens comes off feeling like a convenient answer, and we're supposed to accept it as is. Just what am I supposed to believe? Is this a murder mystery, or is this a supernatural tale? Maybe if you look back to the very beginning, you'll probably find your answer there. Despite that, however, Raging Loop is a fantastic and thrilling storytelling spin on the werewolf game, and with each loop, the mystery and characterization grows, keeping you engaged. Even if the visuals and user interface are minimal, the visual novel is still perfectly effective and functional to aid the overall experience. Which just goes to show that if you have a really good concept and great writing, you can pull off a great story. Pardon the lore info dump and the controversial last act. Raging Loop gets a 5 out of 5 from me. If you've read visual novels like Higurashi and Umineko, I would highly recommend you check out Raging Loop out. I mean, come on now. An isolated settlement and a thriller social mind game. You can check out my review of Umineko over here. Meanwhile, you can find my other visual novel reviews over here. Follow me on Twitter for more of my thoughts about visual novels, and I'll see you on the next video.